Hello and welcome. I'm Raghav, and in this session we are going to start from scratch and we are going to create a Playwright TypeScript project step by step. So this is going to be very easy and very interesting. In this session we are going to see how do we set up Node.js on our system. We will first check if Node is present, and if not we will install and set up Node.js. Then we will create a Playwright TypeScript project, and in the project folder we will add all the required libraries. We will install Playwright, and then we will create and run a sample test, and then we will also check the report. So this will be very easy, very interesting. Let's get started. You can do hands-on along with me, and whenever you face any issues you can let me know in the comment section. Okay, so the first thing is you can very quickly check your system requirements on this page. So let me show you. If you go to Playwright system requirements, this will take you to the official documentation. So you can see here I have selected Node.js, and this is the page. You can see the system requirements here. Okay, now here is the requirements, the current requirements. We need Node.js 18, 20 or 22. We need Windows 10 or Windows Server 2016. So these are the operating systems requirements, and this is the node requirement. Now the reason I'm showing you this page is so that at your time you can check whatever is the latest requirements for your system. You can check this. Okay, so the first thing we will check on our system is whether node is installed. So you can go to your, if you are on Windows you can go to your command prompt. If you are on Mac or Linux you can go to your terminal, and here you can just type node space -v or node space -- version. So if node is present it will show you the version, otherwise it will show you this is not present, and npm is node package manager, and this is also not there. So we will install or set up Node.js. You can go on your browser and just say Node.js download, and it will take you to the Node.js website, which is this one, nodejs.org, and we are on the download page. Now here you can see you can get the Node.js for your operating system. So by default it will select your operating system. So as of now it is Windows, and you can also select here the architecture. So this you can check. You can go, let's say you are on Windows, you can go to here, you can go to my computer or this PC, do a right click and go to properties, and here you should see the details about your operating system. So you can see this is mine, this is a 64-bit processor. So I will take this one. Now see here we have a installer, so this will download the installer file, and you can then run it and install it as any software on your system. Or you can also get a zip folder that you can unzip and keep at any location on your system. So I'm let me try with the zip folder. So I have it here, let me show you. Okay, so this is the folder downloaded. I will unzip it and I can keep it at any location on my system. So I will go to, I want to keep it in my D tools. I will select this folder and say extract. Okay, so the advantage of using the zip folder is you can keep the folder at any location on your system. So by default installation happens on C drive, and C drive is mostly uh, occupied or has less space, so you can just unzip this folder at any location. So in my case D drive has more space, I am unzipping it there, and after that you just need to add the path of the node folder in the path environment variable that I will show you in a moment. So once this extraction is done we will set up the path environment variable. Okay, and meanwhile let me very quickly show you or tell you. So here we are using TypeScript with Playwright. So the first advantage we get with TypeScript is it is type safe. Okay, type safe means it ensures that correct data types are used, whether it is string, number, or whatever is the data type. So it will actually check that the data type you are entering at any location, at any function, in any function, or wherever you are using, it is as per what is required. So this checking is done. So we say TypeScript is type safe, and then we have compile time errors. That means as you are typing, it will show you if you make any mistakes. Instead of when you run your code and then you will find that you made some mistake, it will show you as you are writing your code. It will show you compile time errors. So again, that is also a big advantage of using TypeScript. Okay, so these are some basic features. And I have, if I go to my website, so there is a link. This is TypeScript here, which will take us to my YouTube playlist on TypeScript. So just in case you are a complete beginner and want to learn some basics of TypeScript, you can go here. Although for this particular session, even if you don't know any programming language, you don't know anything in TypeScript, do not worry. We are first doing the setup, and then later on, if you need to go a little bit more deeper in TypeScript, you can check that. Okay, so let's go and see. We have got our node folder unzipped here, and if I go inside, you can see this is what the contents are. If you want, you can give a simple name. I'll just say this is node.js, and then copy the path of this node.js folder, and then go to environment variables. So you can just press your Windows key and then start typing environment and hit enter. It will take you here, and you can go to the environment variables. So go to the path environment variable. Now this variable you will find in the user environment variables as well as in the system environment variables. So you can update it anywhere. So if you have permission at a system level, and if you want to do it at a system level, you can go here. Otherwise this should also be fine for your particular user. So click on edit and click on new and add a new row with the location of the node.js folder and say OK. And then now we will check again. Go to the command prompt, and I'm pressing the up arrow to go to the earlier commands. And at this command prompt, I'm still getting it is not there because it is maintaining the earlier session. It does not know the changes we have done. So I will open a new command prompt, and now I will say node space hyphen v or node space hyphen hyphen version, and you can see we are getting the version, and npm is also there now. Okay, so we have got node.js installed. Okay, we have already done this step number 2. We have added node.js. Now we have to use some IDE where we will create our project. Now see, you can just create a folder and you can create your project there, but it is good that we use some IDE because it will help us in a lot of ways. It will we can work in a proper environment with all our project structure and all the tools we need for programming, running, and doing debugging, etc. So it is good to have a IDE. And if you are already using some IDE, if you have a preference for some particular integrated development environment, you can go with that and we can continue with that. However, if you do not have any specific preference, we can go with VS Code. So VS Code, you can I will open my VS Code, and just in case you want to learn how to get started with VS Code and you are completely new, again you can go on my website or you can go on my channel, because all this will take you to my channel's playlist, and we have Visual Studio Code here, so you can check this. And I think this tutorial should help you learn VS Code in 7 steps. Okay, so once you open your VS Code, we can start creating our project here. Okay, so step number 4 is we will create a project folder and then open it in VS Code. So I will go to my D drive and here I have a projects folder. I'm going to create a new folder here and I will call it as Playwright, and inside this folder I'm going to create another folder for my project. I will call it as Playwright TypeScript.ts project 1. You can name it anything. And now we have to open this folder in VS Code. So you can just go here and say open folder, or go to file and open folder and browse this folder, or we can just drag and drop it here like this, and this will open. Okay, so this has come here. Now I will open the terminal and we have to run some commands. So we have to go to terminal or command line and first go to the project folder location. Now because we are using VS Code, we have an inbuilt terminal. So I can go to view and you will see terminal, or you can also open it by using this keyboard shortcut control plus the backtick key. This key is just below your escape key on the top left corner, or you can just open from here. So the good thing is when you open terminal here, it will open in the project folder itself. Okay, before running, just make sure that it, when you say node space -v and npm -v, you should get the node and npm version, and if you are not getting, you can either try restarting, or generally this issue, you can see the term node is not recognized. This is because you will have to set some or escape some policy. So here, if you just take this and check VS Code terminal, so here you will find, so there is a command we can run. I'll just show you that in a moment. So the first thing let us try is, let us try to exit or quit VS Code, and I'll open it again. I'll go to here. Okay, so I'm here and I will check this. Okay, now this thing, now if you see, now this is because of the execution policy. So now we have to run a command. So you can also copy this and search. So you will get that command here. Set execution policy unrestricted. This is what we need to run here. And now if you again check, you can see here, I will say, you can see we are getting now. I will again check node space -v, and now this is fine. Alright, so we can run our npm and node commands now. So the first thing we will do is npm init -y. This is to create a node project in this folder, and what it will do with that is it will create a file called package.json. So if I say npm init -y, so we say npm init and then it will ask some questions, but if we say, if we use this flag -y, it will just say yes to all those questions and use all the defaults and just skip that part and create it. Okay, so let me run this. So this is done, and you will see a file called package.json is created. Now here this file will have all our libraries that we add. So once we add any library, you will see this will go, you will see the details here, and also it tells us everything about the project, the name, version. You can add some description and a lot of things we can do here. So actually I had created a video on that as well. If you say package.json and if you search by my name, you should see this video is there. Okay, so in this video I have gone a little bit more details on what it is and what all you can do with this file. So it's a very important file in a node project. Okay, so we have done this, and the file package.json is created. Now we will run the command npm init playwright at the rate latest. This is what we will run, and it will ask some questions, and when it asks what you want to use, javascript or typescript, we will use typescript. So let us run this command npm init playwright latest. So I will say here npm init playwright at the rate latest, and you can see we are getting this option, do you want to use TypeScript or JavaScript? So you can use your arrow keys to select. I will select TypeScript and hit enter, and it is asking where to put your end-to-end tests. I will just press tab, so it takes the default tests option, and hit enter. Add a GitHub Actions workflow. You can check this, say press Y or N on your keyboard, and then if it says install Playwright browsers, you can again say Y or N. So I clicked on Y on the keyboard, so it is now installing all the required libraries, and you will see all this getting added and updated here. So we have got our tests folder here. We have got a sample test as well, example spec.ts. This is a .ts file. Okay, so this is now downloading and installing browsers. Okay, and everything is done, and you can now see we have a example in this test example spec.ts. Then we have this config file playwright.config.ts. So this is our config file. Then we also have the test examples here, demo tests are here. Okay, we have all these project, our project structure is ready now. Okay, so we are able to set up our project. So we have done all this. Now let us try to run our sample test. So this is our sample test example spec.ts. Okay, so here you can see it has several tests. This test is checking that whether this page has this title or contains this in the title. Then we have this test, get started link. Okay, so these are the tests we have. So we will run npx playwright test command. I will say npx playwright test, and let's see what happens now. It should start running our test. So you can see it is running. So it is running 6 tests using one worker. So this and everything that we have here is also getting executed. And this is running in a headless mode, that is, it is running in the background. There is no physical browser coming up, but we can also run in a headed mode. I will show you that in a moment. So it is, so this is our playwright config file where we can add all the configurations. Okay, so this is done, and here we can run this command npx playwright show report to see the report. Okay, so it is now serving the HTML report, and you can see these are all our tests. Okay, and you can also see the details of every step. Okay, so we can see the tests. Let us now see these tests. I am pressing Ctrl C to stop this, and I am pressing the up arrow to go to the last command, and now I will say -- headed. So this should now run our tests in a headed mode, that is the physical browser should come up and we can see the execution. So you can see it is running all these tests. So it is very easy and straightforward with TypeScript and also with JavaScript. We don't have to do a lot of setup and settings here, and this is done. Okay, now I can also say I can use the flag --UI and again run it. So let's see what happens now. So when I say UI, you can see here we have got this UI with our tests. Okay, so we have our example spec and we can see this, and we have options to run all, then stop and all these things. So I can also use this to run a specific test. Okay, and you will see the test running along with the timeline and all the details. So it is like a trace. We can see all the trace of our test. Okay, and you can see here, let me run this one as well and show you. This can be very handy, very useful when you want to check or debug. So you can see all the steps here, and you can see real time uh, what exactly happened at that time. So you can see this is a click action. So you can see the screenshot here, what happened. You can see the action happening on this button get started, and before this was the state of the application, and after this action, that is click, this was the state. That means it went to this page. You can check that. And also we have this pick locator. So at this moment, if you want to pick locator for anything, you can get the locator here. Okay, so we have all this call logs, errors, console, network logs, everything comes here, and we also have this timeline here. Okay, so this can be very useful. Okay, we have already tried the headed and UI modes. So we have set up our Playwright TypeScript project. Okay, now this was the test. If you see the sample test that we have got, so this is the sample test. Okay, this one which is checking this particular link has this title. Okay, so let us now very quickly see what this means. So in TypeScript, whenever we have to define a test, we start with the test block. So you can see this is our test block. It starts, we say test, and then a bracket starts here. Okay, and you can see it ends here, and then we add all our test scripts inside this. Then we have page.goto opens the browser, then page.title here gets the current title. Here we are saying expect page.to have title, and here we are using regular expressions. That means the title, this can be present anywhere in the title, and if that happens, it will pass. Okay, expect is for assertions. So this is the very basics. Now let us see a little bit more detail about the test and how do we set up or create a test. Okay, so the very first thing you will see is the import statement. So this is what we are importing and what we need for this test. We need test and expect, these two functions. So test is used to define a test here, and expect is used for writing assertions. Okay, therefore we are importing this from the Playwright library. Okay, then after this we have this test start function. So this is this starts a new test. This is the title of the test, or this is the name of the test, has title. It describes what the test will do. You can put anything here, so you can put some meaningful name of the test. Okay, and async, here we are using async. I will tell you what is async and await. So we always use async and await together. Okay, so this function is a async function. Okay, and page is, you can, it is coming from Playwright and it is like a browser tab. Okay, so therefore it is like a tab of the browser. So we are opening a tab of the browser and then we are doing all these things on that particular tab. Okay, so here the async function, in automation it is very important that whenever we run some command or whenever we do anything on the browser, on the application, we should wait for that particular process to get completed before going to the next step. For example, we are trying to go to a particular page and it is loading. We should wait until that process is done and then only go to the next step. For example, the first step is go to google.com and the second step is click on a button. But let's say the first step, that is loading of the page, is not complete and it goes to the second step, that is click a button, it will fail because it will not find that button there. Therefore we use async function here. Okay, and then when we say async, we always use await. So therefore you can see for every command we are saying, whether page.goto or expect or click, we use await. Okay, so async allows a function to use await inside it, and await tells the code to wait until the task is done. Okay, so because we want to wait until this is done, and again here we want to wait until this is done, therefore we are using await here. Okay, and if you use await without async, it will throw an error. So if you see any of this, you can see any of these functions, we are saying we are using async here, and then we can use await. So await, go to this page, await, get this particular link and then click on it, then we are doing this check. Okay, similarly you can go and see here as well. So we are using it like this. All right, so that is why we use async and await. Okay, and here it is very useful in Playwright and in automation in general, because these operations are slow operations like navigating to pages, getting some objects, doing some action on the objects, waiting for some responses, doing assertions. Therefore these are asynchronous operations and therefore we use async await to handle them properly without getting a lot of failures. All right, I hope this is clear. Okay, now here we have already discussed await waits until this step is finished before continuing. And so you can see await, that means whatever we write after this, we have to wait for this to get completed. And here we are saying page.goto to this link, so this will open this particular web page in the browser tab. Okay, so it goes to the playwright.dev homepage. Then this line is for assertion, so we are using expect here. So it is to check whether the title has this in its, whether playwright is there in the title. Okay, and here we are using regular expressions, so you can see these are regular expressions. Okay, so that means we are doing a partial match, that in the title anywhere we can have playwright and that will pass. Okay, and this is let us now, we can go to our tests and create a new test. I will say right click, new file, my test.spec.js, you can use any name here. So here we will first import test and expect from Playwright. So I will say import test and expect from Playwright libraries. All right, then I will start typing test. Okay, now here you can see it is showing me auto suggestions. I can press tab and auto complete this. Okay, or I can press escape to disappear that auto suggestion. And here I can give any name. This is my first test, then we are saying async and passing page here, and then we can keep on adding our test statements inside this block. So let's say we want to go to Google. So I will say await page.goto, await page.goto, and give the URL. So I will say https google.com. Okay, then we can say page.locator and find a locator of any object, and then we can use action like fill what we want to add. So if I go to google.com, here, or let me go here, yeah, this is the search box. If I do a right click and say inspect, you can see here the name property is q, so I can use this to find this search box. So I can say here await page.locator, and I'm saying find the input type of element where the name property equals q, and then whatever you want to fill, we can use the action dot fill and add whatever you want to add here. Okay, and then we can mimic keyboard enter press by saying page.keyboard.press. So I will say await page.keyboard.press enter. Okay, so you can see it is, we are getting auto suggestion. It is so easy, and I can say await page dot wait for timeout whatever second. 2000 means this is in milliseconds, that is 2000 means 2000 millisecond means 2 seconds. Okay, and then let's say uh, we want to say we are creating a constant called results, and we are searching for all the locators which have the search in their as their id. Hash means the id property, and taking the count, and then we are expecting results to be greater than 0. That means whatever is the count of this should be greater than 0. So all this you can do. Okay, so you can also see this is taking h3 locator. So all these assertions we can add. I will go to the settings here, and here I will go to font, so we can increase the font from here. Okay, yeah, this is fine. Okay, so all this you can now do, and of course for running we use the command. I will say npx playwright test, or if I have to run this specific file, I can say npx playwright test, and I will go to the tests folder, and then I will run this my test.spec.js. So this will run that particular test file. Okay, so this has executed in a headless mode. I will say hyphen hyphen headed, so that we can actually see the execution. Okay, it says no test found, so let me see here. This is my command. Let me just say here, I'll put this. Okay, let me try adding forward slashes here. And yeah, it has started now. Okay, some issue. Now see, it is running in all these browsers because that is what is there in the settings. So if you want, you can change that as well. Okay, so you can see this has failed because of this page dot go to. Okay, we had a error here, so you can see it has catched the error, so it can be very handy. So we can very quickly find out the issue. I will fix this and let's run it again. Okay, so this time it was fine, and of course because of this pop-up, we will not be able to go to the home page. I can actually try this by saying here NCR is for no country redirect, so that we don't get that country specific pop-up. And then if we still get accept all or something, we can also add that uh, block to accept the click on accept. Okay, so yes, you can see now it has gone here, and again this comes up. I will save and run again. Okay, so at least we are getting this, and we will have to click on accept all here, and then it should be able to do the rest of the steps for us. So there is this code to handle this pop-up. Okay, and I can try to check if this works fine. Yes, you can see it worked fine, and of course after that there may be some other error in finding the search button. Accept it. I will so this is the pop-up exception is accepted button click is working fine. I will press Control C here to stop this. Okay, and you can see there is some error here. Okay, I believe after we are doing redirection and it does not have that particular properties, so uh, we can, instead of name, I will say text area here, and we can try with this. Sorry, it should be name should be here, and instead of input I will say text area, and let us try to run it now. Okay, so yes, this time it worked. So it worked on Chrome, it is running on Firefox now. Okay, here it is, there was some another check, so that's fine. Okay, so this is done, and now we can see on Chrome it passed. Okay, everything is fine on Chrome, and on other browsers there was some check, therefore that has failed, but that's fine, we are able to run our test now. Okay, so this is how you can create the test, and this is how we can set up a Playwright TypeScript project. I hope this was useful. I will see you soon. Thank you for watching, and never stop learning.